Hello there here, and not even an intro theme or something like that, eh? Fascinating, it's just low pitch sound, I guess. Deep low pitch sound. Horrifying. And this is a new door. I'm not sure what does it do, but anyway, yes. We have gathered 3 keys and now we can open this door. We can already open it before... What is that sound? Before gathering the 3 keys, but... Oh, I do hear something. That's weird. Before... we can open the door before gathering 3 keys, but I gathered 3 keys just in case. Anyway, yes, let's go. How many times does this make now? Never thought his presence will make such a huge difference. Hello, May? Seems like his use is nearing its end. No need to keep him around, then. I wonder how long it will take until I find another one. Letting it end like this will be quite boring though. And he did interact with her quite a lot, maybe I should do one last experiment. Oh wait, I think you are May. With her, who are you talking about? I'll send him off with a bang, he deserves it for helping me so much. Alright, time to go make preparations. Interesting. What was... My head felt like it was splitting open. Oh. The title was called The End. What was I doing? I had seen something. A nightmare? No, it had been real, hadn't it? The pain was nearly unbearable. Images that seems to have no relation to each other flashed through my mind. A plan, a dark room full of people, distorted faces, an ocean. 2 children, a blood trail, a pack of cats, a knife, pain. I don't see a pack of cats. My head felt as if it was about to burst, and then... It was over, the pain was gone, as did myself. The image I had seen, were they hallucination, or were they memories? My mind was all jumbled up. I called out as I left the bedroom, but no one answered. I approached the front door, my hand touched the cold doorknob. Sweat started to form on my arm. Was I afraid? Of what? I swallowed hard, my hand finally moved and I turned the doorknob. Ah, this is different. As I stepped outside, I noticed that everything looked normal. My breathing slowed. I hadn't noticed how tense my body had become. I stepped into a narrow alleyway that seems to be leading into a busier part of the town. It was bustling with life. Something about the people walking by was off, but it was hard to put a finger on it. It was too far away. I decided to avoid the main street for now and instead went the other direction. My instincts told me that was the right thing to do. Ah! Right as I turned into another alleyway, I saw something from the corner of my eyes. And that is... Had someone just entered one of the buildings, I hadn't turned my head quick enough. This brilliantly white structure seems out of place amidst the grey houses that were lining the street. As I trotted closer, I noticed that it looked awfully familiar to the lab I had worked in. Perhaps it is the lab. You've been talking a lot about your being a scientist researching a fungus or stuff like that. No, it was the lab. What was it doing here? I stood in front of it for a while, dumbfounded, but there was no mistaking it. This was my lab. The easiest way to make sure was entering it. The interior looked exactly like I remembered it. No one was at the reception, meaning no one to manually open the door. But I fortunately still knew the passcode. I made my way upstairs and walked towards section M. M? On the way, I tried to cover my eyes and ears peeled in case one of my colleagues was around. But the place seems to be totally deserted. That wasn't the only thing that was bothering me though, everything was oddly clean. Most people would likely not think that this was something to be concerned about. The problem was that there was no way someone had been able to find the time to tidy up the lab. Not only had we lost a big part of our staff, and why is that? No one was in the right mood to bother with keeping things clean. In the right mood? As I was contemplating what What this might mean, I finally reached my destination. My office. Your office. The door was slightly ajar. Did someone break in? I cautiously opened it. The room was empty, my desk was gone, my files cabinets were gone, even the wallpaper was gone. What had happened here? The only thing present was a single sheet of paper in the middle of the room. I hesitantly walked toward it. Oh, the door behind me suddenly slammed shut and I jerked around. Was it a wind or did someone slam it shut? But there was no door. Interesting. I stood there in disbelief. Then I slowly turned around and looked back at the sheet of the paper on the ground. My hands began to shake. The closer I got to the piece of paper, the worse their trembling became. I hesitantly let my eyes wander over the red writing. Thank you for participating in my experiments. Oh. Hello. May. May? What? There's two May? Are those Mays? Game design, writing, audio, video composing, and animation, Tim Reichert. Editing, Sam Carpenter, Tristan Wolf, Barbara Shipper. I can skip that. Alfred Cross, Daniel Westfall, Draw here. Manga page templates, kinetic text, programming in engine animations. Perhaps a little bit slower. Art direction, Assistant, Tekijaki, Blackwing, Binlan, Monster and Death, Shige Separate Menu Art, Opening Cinematic Ancient, Title Screen Art, Miso Yozo Art. Oh my god, that's a lot. Cookie, cabbage and potato, where? Really? There's cabbage and potatoes from Cooking Companion. Yeah, that's a game that I played as well. Interesting. Very interesting. That was short. I adopted it. I have like 3 keys. I wonder what are they for. This is not the end, isn't it? Or is it? Can we unlock something in the menu? Congratulations on finishing Mycorrhiza. I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed the experience. I do. Before you are sent to the title screen, there are a few things that you'll know. 1. On the title screen, you'll notice a new menu called Extra. I know it. Inside the menu, you will also have the option to replay the intro and outro. 2. We have done our best to make Mycorrhiza as bug-free, typo-free, and enjoyable as possible. But you might still encounter some bugs or have suggestions on how to improve the game. If you do, then please don't hesitate to fill out our feedback form. You can also find the form on our itch.io page. Feel free to check out our devlogs for behind-the-scenes information. There's also a link to the free soundtrack on the itch.io page. If anything new Mycorrhiza related happens, you'll hear about it on our Twitter, MycorrhizaVN. Feel free to tweet at us if you create anything Mycorrhiza related like Let's Play or fan art. You can also find the social media links of many team members on Mycorrhiza's itch.io page. If you have any questions regarding Mycorrhiza, you can contact me, the game designer. For example, on Twitter, fullmedicus, or per my website, https://teamresearch.com. Once again, thank you so much for sticking with us on this journey and have fun with discovering the extras. What are the keys for? I shot awake, panting heavily, my clothes sticking to my skin due to all the sweat. What? Oh wait, this is the intro. Oh wait, I couldn't skip it. I couldn't remember it anymore, but it must have been horrifying. Chills were still running down my spine. It was just a dream, just a nightmare, nothing more. After calming down, I decided to take another look around the house. I'm just curious, is it the same thing? Ah! The handwriting was very crude, but I was able to make out what it said. No escape. So, the intro, but with a little bit of difference. Had someone been in here while I was asleep? And what did they mean with no escape? I took on the door. It didn't budge. I took again and again and again and again, each time with increasing force. It didn't move an inch. Was I actually trapped in here? I quickly moved to the nearest window and tried to open it. But I couldn't. Just like the door, this window too didn't budge. It was as if it was painted on the wall. The same was true for the other windows. In my desperation, I picked up a chair and threw it at the glass. But nothing happened. It didn't even cause a visible scratch. This was madness. Had someone locked me in on purpose, how could I escape? I quickly went from door to door and tried to open them, and to my surprise, one opened. Did I not check every door properly yesterday, or did the person who was here before I woke up open it? This room looked like a study, a very small and empty study. The only notable objects were a desk and a computer. The desk had 4 drawers. Picking at someone's private possessions didn't sit well with me. But this wasn't the time to think about that. I needed to find a way to escape. I tugged on one of the drawers. Closed. There were keyholes on the front of the drawers. Ah! I thought it was for a door. I took another look below the desk and behind the computer, but there was nothing of note. There is 4 locked drawers? But we only have 3 keys. This also meant that there was no phone here I could use to call for help. But if this computer was connected to the internet, then I might be able to contact a colleague or a friend. When I put a hand into my pocket out of habit, I felt something metallic brush my hand. My pockets had been empty the day before. I pulled out what was inside and realized that I was holding several small keys that I didn't recognize. My puzzled look wandered towards the drawers. What should I examine? Go back to bed? What, really? Let me save. Computer first, I guess. I switched the computer on and was greeted to a simplistic interface. Sorry. Ah. Windows 3.0. Welcome, Maria. Ah, replay intro. Okay. What? Okay. Interesting. I want to see what's the last one. Have I heard this one? I don't think so. This is closing the computer. Hint to finding the keys part 1. If a door has 1 key, the first door is the easiest, the third door is the hardest. The order is important, I already get it. Yeah, I already have it. I don't need it. Interesting. Drawer 1. I slid the key in and it fit. It actually somehow had this drawer's key. Inside the drawer was an unassuming USB drive. I put it into one of the computer USB slots. Drawer 1 again. I had already taken the USB out of the drawer. There was nothing else in here. Drawer 2. I slid the key in and it fit. It actually somehow had this drawer's key. Ah, USB drive again. I have 1 key left. Drawer 4. I was about to open the drawer when I realized there was no handle. Checking its sides and underside didn't uncover any hidden switches or keyholes. There was no way to open it without breaking it down bit by bit, which will take forever without proper tools. But this drawer might contain a way for me to escape, a spare house keys for example. I decided to work on dismantling the drawer while I wasn't investigating the rest of the room. You can open the 4th drawer in this version of the game. Thank you for your patience. Wait, what do you mean? Will there be an update for the game? Fascinating. Really, really interesting. Computer. Maria? Who's Maria? Ah. Like when our department was tasked with finding a cure for the recent outbreak, and I was appointed co-team lead to help with our insane workload. Oh, music. Since my partner will cover the logistical side of the things, I can focus on research, experimentation, and choosing what to share with other departments. First, I'd like to summarize the subject. A new type of disease was discovered at excavation site 1208-ZOZ2. It was simply named, same disease or ZOS. Yes, that's, you go. Cause unknown. Team D is currently stationed on site for security and sample collection. The rest of us work in labs. So a new type of disease was discovered. ZOS. An outbreak happened. ZOS has no symptoms at first, but eventually causes lightheadedness, which is strange since it keeps blood flowing to the head. Suddenly, victims fall into coma, their bodies decay, their neck regions hardens, presumably to prevent blood loss, and their brain mostly stays intact. Due to the disease's mysterious nature and transmissibility, we are forbidden to leave the quarantine zone. Those of us working on the cure here are especially at risk. The chance of contamination is high. Thanks to DMD, we know that spore-like microorganisms, Mycorrhiza, are the most likely cause of ZOS. This confirms the prior theory about aerial transmission. Furthermore, we discovered that the heads from the excavation site are emitting more of them. I don't know how many of us are infected, but recent victims of ZOS should start exhibiting its few symptoms any day now. Further testing is needed to learn how these microorganisms affect our bodies in such gruesome ways. If we can do that, we can find ways to fight back against ZOS. Headache. Are you sure that's not the disease? With all the information gathered by Team D, we were able to draft a rough plan for the cure's development. I'm hopeful that we can make it quickly before ZOS spreads beyond the local populace. Each team has set up sleeping quarters in and around the labs so that everyone can spend as much time as possible working on this. Some of us has gotten as little as 1 hour of sleep these past few nights. Hopefully our sacrifice will be worth it. One variant of the cure is making steady progress, otherwise things have been generally slow. I fear the longer this takes, the more our morale will fall, especially as people within the quarantine zone fall victim to ZOS. A colleague of mine broke down when he heard that ZOS has traveled further than expected. His family live in one of the newly affected quarantine zones. Team C also had problems with one of their scientists who got themselves banned from the research center. Apparently she performed non-consensual experiments on people infected with ZOS. What the fuck? Due to the dire situation we are in, some might want to try extreme methods, but I agree that she went too far. Hopefully nothing similar has happened here. For now. I think I need to lay down. Is it Maria, the scientist? One of our facility branches created a reliable means of telling whether someone has just before they fall into a coma. I've been given a prototype of the test and was curious enough to try it on myself. Why? Unfortunately, it came back positive. I should have known since I've been handling the spores daily. Not even following every possible precaution helped. How am I supposed to finish my research now? I'll just have to do it as quickly as possible. No one can know. This can all be for nothing. The cure my team has been working on is almost complete. If I can, I'm going to try it on myself first, since it should wipe up any zoospores within an infected person. It's my only hope, at least this way. If something happens, no one else has to suffer from our short-sightedness. I know I don't have much time left, so I've been working on it non-stop. I don't want to try it on someone else without knowing with 100% certainty that it works. If it does, it shouldn't affect uninfected people. We'll distribute it to everyone if so. It's better to be safe than sorry. What do you mean it shouldn't affect uninfected people? I don't want to think about what will happen to me if it's ineffective. Writing this log is getting harder. Darkness sometimes creeps in on the edge of my vision. It is difficult to stand, and I feel like I'm moving through water. If this ends up being my last entry, then goodbye everyone, and good luck. I recently encountered an interesting species of plant. This is the second text. One I hadn't seen before. It had a rather large stem which was dotted with countless tiny mushrooms. Botany isn't my specialty, so I took it to an old colleague of mine who knows the field. He couldn't make sense of it either, Frederick. One thing I quickly observed is that animals, mainly mammals like cat and dogs, seems to be highly attracted to the plant. Interesting, that's where the pets come from. And you also eat it. Must eat them. Some even refuse to eat anything but. My brother's college and I decided to keep looking into these plants and the animal who eat them. At least until we solve this mystery. Eventually I was able to observe a drastic change in animals that ate the plant. Their bodies deform over time as they fed, and they become incredibly aggressive. Looking at them, they almost seem to develop human or human-like features. I feared I might be attacked at some point, so I locked all of my test subjects in cages. They only ate the damn plants. I had to keep feeding them an all-plant diet, and it still disturbs me. They all started to look even more human. They also become far more dangerous. An ex-dog sniffed at a cloth my botanist college left behind and became highly agitated. It broke out of its cage and raced outside to who knows where. Oh no. Oh no. I chased after it, of course, but it was already long gone. Needless to say, reinforced the cage the other animals are being held in. Today is the day after the incident. I just received word that my college was found dead in his home, with a big blood puddle underneath him. A DNA test revealed that it wasn't his. The person who found him swore that a weird monster was lying right where the puddle was, but slowly dissolved. Obviously no one believed her. What the fuck? My working hypothesis at this time is simple. This monster can be used to seek out and kill someone, but they die immediately afterward. Fascinating. While I mourn the loss of my college and friend, I need to continue our research. So that's what it means by they are breeding another. They are making another. So because it immediately dies. I have a feeling that other people have found out what the plants can be used for. They must be developing their own pets in secret. It won't go so smoothly. I'll have to keep growing my own and hope that I'm faster, better than they are. I should be okay, as long as I avoid leaving anything of mine at someone's house. They can only do something if they have my scent after all. It's just too bad those things die after only one use. Ah, that's a very different, what do you call it? Thinking, thoughts from the first one. Ah, I see. Interesting. Let me see the picture inside first. Ah. The news talk about a new epidemic that's broken out, but refuse to give any other info than the disease sends you into a coma-like state. They just told us to stay in our homes. There's a talk of contamination zone or quarantine too. One of the neighbors said they'll stop people from leaving the area, even by force if necessary. My sister, who was assigned to the team researching the sickness, also told me that she'll be away from home until the situation is resolved. I feel so alone and hopeless. Who are you? This has been going on for way longer than I expected. My sister still hasn't come home since she left. I know she has to work day and night to help everyone, but I just can't help missing her. We've been through so much since we left home. I heard that some of my neighbors have the disease too. I really hope they find a cure. Also, I've started having weird dreams lately. I always find myself in a town that I haven't seen before. My neighbors are all there but are perfectly healthy. That's pretty normal on its own, but it's the exact same town every time. Kajam Hype. Who are you? Are you May? It's like I really am walking the streets and seeing the sights there. Things are always lucid to an extent. Time just progresses in strange ways, like hours pass by in a matter of minutes. And I don't even notice. I must be having these dreams because of all the stress. My sister suddenly came home. I was really happy at first, but she seemed different. When I asked what was bothering her, she said she got fired. So it is your sister that comes home. You talk about it in the second chapter. She got fired. That's why she got back home. Fascinating. So, I think previously it was May and then the sister. The sister did some horrible experiment. The sister is the one that did this to us. And wouldn't tell me why. I just let it go. I told her about my weird dreams, too. But she barely listened. Maybe I can do something to cheer her up. My sister left yesterday night but didn't tell me where she was going. She came back with this weird device which she said is for telling whether someone has ZOS. ZOS is apparently the name they give the sickness. I let her use it on me. Apparently I got infected somehow, but I figured that was probably the case. Most of our neighbors are in comas and I just saw some of the ones who aren't just yesterday. I guess it couldn't be helped. She asked if I let her inspect me. I was hesitant but she talked me into it. My sister told me something weird today. Apparently I should already be in a coma, but I don't feel any different than usual. This led her to think that maybe, somehow, my body can fight the disease. She told me to stay put and not tell anyone until she was absolutely sure. When asked why I couldn't go to the research facility and let them have a look, she got really defensive. She said that they might hurt me. I'll let her test her theories for 2 more days. After that, I'll see if someone else can find anything. I don't know what happened to my sister. We have always been close. She's my best friend. But she's just not the same person anymore. I tried to leave today because her 2 days are up, but she protested. Things got physical and she overpowered me. She locked me in my room and screamed about how it's for your own good and they'll kill you. I wish I was strong enough to break free. Yeah, they will probably kill you. When she calmed down, she told me that there's something in our bodies preventing the sickness from developing. She even said that she infected herself to test that theory. That made me cry. First because I thought she was insane, then because I was glad she was okay. I had another weird dream today. I was in that town again, but I met my sister there. We talked and she said she'd been having the same dream ever since she infected herself. As soon as we were up, she stormed my room and started asking questions. She said it might be because of ZOS, but that doesn't make any sense. I just want this to end soon so things can go back to normal. Since yesterday, I've been hearing weird noises outside my room every now and then. My sister keeps saying that everything's fine and that I'm just imagining things. But I'm scared. Sometimes it's just random shuffling, but sometimes it sounds like muffled screams. What are you doing out there, Mary? Really interesting. There are generally 3 methods to reach the pinnacle of face comedy: distortion, removal, and addition. We'll start with the easiest one, distortion. Simple but not well refined technique, so I wouldn't recommend trying it for too long. Still, good fundamentals provide a basis for improvement, meaning you, my dear reader, should keep paying attention. The easiest way to distort one's facial features is with the fingers. For example, you could pull up your eyelids or tuck the corner of your mouth, giving you a strange appearance. Any amateur can do that, though. Using tools is far more complex, not to mention much more permanent. Everyone will love it, especially if you shift the tool's places around. Personally, I recommend using staples or tape to make... Ooh. Alright, so I did some mistake while recording this, and I have to record some part, but basically we were here back then, RP, and also I edited my video. Yeah, I actually have finished like reading all the documents. There's nothing else, it's just the documents that we can read. And, apparently there's an error in the recording and I have to cut that part away, and now I have to re-record the part, which is sucks, but alright, it's all for you. Let's start the music, shall we? Where was I back then? Oh yeah, here. Personally, I recommend using staples or tape to make distortions more long-term. Other interesting tools are strings and pins. Put a pin through an eyelid or cheek to fix something in place, then the rest of the page covered in red stains. Next, let's discuss removal. This is an intricate, highly involved process. You can completely excise parts of your face to look funnier and maybe even charm your crush. To do this, you will need scissors, a big sharp knife, a handsaw or bone saw, and/or a rotary saw. Caution miss, who is writing these things? It's usually best to have an assistant too. Removal is a difficult process by oneself, and maybe your body needs help as well. Just remember that laughter is the best medicine. The laugh you receive from this, the essence of true facial comedy, will make the pain more than bearable. First, make a small incision on the left side of your nose, and the rest of the description is drenched in blood. Finally, we arrive at addition. Like removal, this is a very risky technique. Reserved only for the cream of the crop. It may sound simple though. All you have to do is add and never stop. Search for features that are a disgrace to facial humor, then take them for yourself and pair them off. The person might even thank you for all your help with removal. There are some important things to keep in mind. So first and foremost, never steal from a fellow comedian, which Frederick do back then. Because Frederick didn't know we are a comedian or not, right? We are wearing masks, but Frederick still punch us. Second, don't damage anyone face while on the hunt for parts because you might ruin your additions. Third, be sure to keep unused parts frozen so they can be used later. You may want to start with just one person, but variety is the spice of life. You can add all sorts of facial features to yourself and look like either a real freak show or a fake model. Beauty is only skin deep. The remaining pictures are covered in blood and assorted fleshy chunks, leaving them completely unreadable. Fascinating. And then the last file. Note 1. They actually fired me. Me? How could they be so short-sighted? This is Maria. We need to use every possible method in combating Zos. If I was the leader of this operation, I'd fire anyone who let the ethics get in the way. Sacrifice always needed to be made to ensure humanity's future. So, this is a note we saw in the ship back then as well. Maria the ones that write it. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll just continue my research in private since it's not like there aren't enough subjects inside the zone. Frankly, I can't believe I originally thought I was unlucky to live here when this happened. It was a stroke of luck. First, I need to get my notes back. Those numbskulls wouldn't let me take them when they threw me out, and whine about how they are company property. It's my IP. I did the labor, I know my contract, and I know they don't have a leg to stand on. They just want to claim they found a cure, but it will be me. At least security isn't too tight at the moment. Massive step towards discovering a cure. Note 2. My sister has Zos, and although I don't know when she was infected, she says she feels fine. This means the chance of natural immunity, or at least natural resistance, is greater than 0. I'll have to take drastic measures and see if the resistance is genetic. Normally, I exercise caution, but time's running out. No one else deserves the honors but me. My hypothesis was proven true. Note 3. After a few successful tests and self-infection, it seems my sister and I are both completely immune to the disease. I will immediately start development on the cure. May suggested giving herself up to my college, but I'm convinced her to stay. They have a bigger team, so I have no chance to catch up if they found out about her. She gave me 2 days. I'll have to find a way to keep her here after that. It's not just for our sakes, but everyone's. I've been having odd dreams as of late. I always wake up in the same town, then find myself wandering through it for hours on end. Interesting, the Kejam height. Sometimes I see people sitting alongside the road, all of whom look identical to my test subjects. I've even met some who look like my infected neighbors, Note 4, but they always insist that they have been living there all their life, and even recount events from their childhood to prove it. Strangely, I met Mai there too. She was shocked to see me, but the feeling wasn't exactly mutual. She mentioned something about having strange dreams the other night. I suppose this is just one of the disease symptoms. Could Zos be related to a collective unconsciousness of some kind? Even if it's only shared among a few people. Do we really need to get rid of it if so? We could have eternal life in that alternate world. No, I'm too committed to stop now. The things I've done, that I will have to do, are too much to allow that. I'm even running out of Zos infected. Maybe I need some uninfected subjects. Interesting. But how do you see how we live in there, like we are keep dying? Last night I broke into the lab again to see how their research was going and to collaborate with them. How did you do that? There's only so much I can do at home. Most people were asleep, but some weren't. When I think I'd be found out, they just walked past me with blank expression on their faces. Things must not be progressing too smoothly for them, or maybe the numbskulls in charge have forced a crunch. Whatever it is, it can be good for them. I'm glad to see it. It means I'm ahead of them, and that I can help them by perfecting my cure. As I was about to leave my borrowed data, I found a scientist just outside the facility. He was unconscious, so I brought him home. I soon found out that he was already infected, so at least I didn't have to do that part myself. Hello, Scott. That's Scott, by the way. I just finished designing a new formula for my cure. This lucky guy can be the first to try it. As I was exploring the other side, I realized that I could, very slightly, change the environment. And even the people around me. Does my resistance have something to do with it? Is it some kind of blessing or a great curse? I also noticed something truly peculiar about my last step subject. He met my sister in the dream, but didn't have any fake memories. Unlike everyone else, he seemed to be lost and was trying to find his way back home. Maybe because of the new formula I injected him with. It might not have been enough to cure him, but he seemed to have some awareness about that place man I do. Minus the power to actually wake up. It also seemed as if his presence is impacting the world and people around him, similar to May and me, but more extremely. This was a great stroke of luck on my part. I think I'll try testing on how far I can warp that place further, and he'll make an excellent control group. Say, I wonder what happens to people in the real world when their Zo's dream self dies. And that's what you do to Scott back then. Interesting. The artifacts. Buried village uncovered by an archaeological expedition. Last month, a team led by renowned archaeologist Herschel Soya set out to examine the recent landslide pathogen origin. I think this is where the virus comes from. They discovered artifacts this past Monday and today learned that this belonged to an underground village near Pangambara. How or why it was buried remains unclear, but it's certain that discovery will shed a considerable light on our local history. Dr. Soya asked our pepper not to disclose the dig site's current location so that he and his team can work without distractions. When questioned about why no one came forward regarding the artifacts, one archaeologist said, "We just didn't know what we are dealing with. It'd be premature." Here's hoping more interesting things get unearthed in the coming days. Archaeological finding perplexed expert. In a follow-up to yesterday's front page story, Herschel Soya archaeology team has discovered several human heads in the ground. The strange part, explained Dr. Soya, is that these buried heads' level of deterioration implies they are much younger than a village. Interesting. When asked if they might be recent, he said the possibility was a strong one. No, it's not recent, more like, or maybe it's recent and there's some kind of weird stuff involved, but I think it's because of more like the virus slows down their metabolism and stuff like that, their death. At the very least, this may explain what happened to these people or how they ended up in such an abandoned underground place, Dr. Sai commented. Further findings at mysterious excavation site. The newly christened buried hamlet archaeological team made major progress today. This afternoon, Herschel Soya identified the village as more of a hamlet. Its people are reliant on farming to survive. There are no bigger historical village near it or Pangambara, so residents were secluded. However, there may be more buried nearby, Dr. Soya explained. Before investigating the surrounding areas, the team will focus on fully uncovering the hamlet in secret. Unfortunately, sudden lightheadedness in certain members has slowed their progress. Interesting. When asked to provide more information on the heads his team uncovered on Saturday, Dr. Soya informed our paper that he's still awaiting results from the police and laboratories. The buried hamlet archaeological team, led by scientists baffled by living disembodied heads, led by Herschel Soya, can connect themselves to another strange occurrence. Disembodied buried heads they uncovered on Saturday were found to be more recent than expected. A coroner report noted that blood circulation never stopped for a moment, even though specific parts of the brain had died. What we have here, essentially people in a perpetual coma, according to her. Yeah, the world of dreams. This bodies on witchcraft, a scientist remarked. We still have no idea how it happened, or assumption these borders. Sorry, I thought it was bodies. Our assumption is that the heads have been preserved by an unknown parasite or some other organism. Parasite. The police meanwhile said that the heads don't match any missing person report from the last 3 years. We can publish this. The coroner is claiming that this news might tarnish their reputation, and it might hurt ours because of how absurd it is. If this is all you have today, then remove their comment or claim it was anonymous. Fascinating. And let's see the image. Hello, May. Hello, Maria. This one is Maria, the one holding knife, I see. Anyway, yes, that's all actually that we can see in this thing. We can just close the thing and go away. Yep. There was nothing else. Nap? Yep. No way I will be stuck here forever. Right. So I guess that's all for Mycorrhiza, the world of distorted dreams. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, though. I love this kind of stories. Anyway, yes, that's all. See you later then in my next video. Bye-bye.